vinyl community? This is Tommy and welcome to another musical adventure. And today we're doing the vinyl tag 2022. We made it to 2022. I want to take a moment and thank everyone that has watched the videos I've made this year, who subscribed to the channel, who has commented, the friends I've made. It's just been incredible, and I want to thank each and every one of you for being along for this ride and this journey. And if you know anybody that might be into my channel and they're not watching it or whatever, send them a link. Tell them that I'm cool, or tell them that I'm lame. Tell them whatever. Say, go over and make fun of that guy who mispronounces names, who abuses good taste in music, whatever you want to say. I don't care. Or hopefully you enjoy what I do here. And I thank you. Whatever. Either way, we're going to do the vinyl tag. Now, what I decided to do, and I'm going to try to go through it kind of quickly because, you know, these things can be 40-hour videos. I don't want to do that. So what I want to do is go through the list here, the questions. I'm going to post them down there. If you haven't done a video yet, go ahead and do one because these are always fun. I've seen a few videos already, but I don't like to watch a whole lot of them before I do mine because it kind of taints some of my judgment. What I decided to do for the vinyl tag for me is I try to keep everything different. And by being different, like I didn't try to repeat artists or anything like that. I try to make each question unique, even though, as you'll see when I start going through this, a lot of these probably could go into the same category, and I'll kind of go into that as we go through. But let's start with question number one, Vinyl Tag 2022. Here we go. Favorite album purchased in 2021. Now, I purchased a lot of albums in 2021, so I'm not sure if the question is more about favorite album of 2021 or favorite, whatever. I'm going to go with this one for obvious and bittersweet reasons. This is Mickey Dolenz Sings Michael Nesmith. Dolenz Sings Nesmith. This is the album that Mickey Dolenz did, produced by Michael's son, Christian Nesmith. And this is the album where he sings songs written by Michael Nesmith. Of course, we lost Michael Nesmith late last year. But the album is sort of a bittersweet one. But actually, this album is way better than I probably even expected. Mickey sounds great. The production is really neat. The arrangements are cool. And as a matter of fact, the version of Circle Sky from this LP was recently voted the fan favorite song on Little Steven's Underground Garage on XM. So that's a cool thing. If you haven't heard this album, check it out. It's a really great album from 7A Records. Dolenz Sings Nesmith. I think you'll be quite surprised. Second is album by first person you saw live. Now, I probably saw a lot of people live with my dad kind of growing up. People like Marshall Tucker Band, Randy Travis, I think I saw. But the first like real concert that I remember going to, the first like real like rock concert, like going to an arena and seeing a band, Whitesnake. This was 1987, self-titled album. This album was huge in 1987. Rock on. Whitesnake. That was the first sort of real concert I remember seeing. Album by a duo. I went with Doc and Merle Watson. This is their album, 2 Days in November. The great Doc Watson, Merle Watson, both legends. This is on Poppy Records. Really great country bluegrass duo. If you don't know Doc and Merle and you like country music, go with Doc and Merle Watson on my duo. Album in the Shrink. Now, this could have gone under a lot of things. Album I haven't spun. Some of the questions coming up. Albums I've not played. Whatever. I just grabbed one. This is still in the Shrink. This also has a price sticker on it, too. That's another question. But Superman 3, the soundtrack. Yes, the third Superman movie with Christopher Reeve. And also directed by Richard Lester. Hard Day's Night. You know, that guy, Richard Lester, same guy, Richard Pryor. It was more of a comedic take in the series. It's a terrible movie, and I'm sure the soundtrack's terrible. I don't know that I'll ever open this, but anyway, it's still in the Shrink. A concept album. I went with the Lemon Twigs This is the Lemon Twigs Go to School. It says that it's a musical by the Lemon Twigs. For those of you who don't know, the Lemon Twigs are two brothers, album by a duo, again. But this is a really, really cool record. This features Todd Rundgren. Jody Stevens from Big Star is involved with this. So they pull in some of their heroes. So the Lemon Twigs are really young guys. I don't know if you've heard their music, but imagine like two dudes from like 1972 or 73 who built a time machine, came forward in time into recent times, and made music. They play everything, they sing, but this is the concept album, The Lemon Twigs Go to School. All right, the next one, album you've not played yet. So I randomly grabbed one. I've got a stack of not played yet records that just kind of sit there. This is Tiny Tim's second album. Not sure why I haven't played it. Just maybe I'm a little afraid. I don't know. This is actually, funny enough, a white label promo, so I thought I'd show it to you. Tiny Tim's second album. I've not played it. Have no idea. So there you go. Artist you discovered in 2021. I hate to say I'm late to the party. Paul Williams. This is someone I'm kind of really starting to get into. Now, I've heard Paul Williams. I know who Paul Williams is. So it's not like, but I'm just now really kind of digging into his albums. I know a lot of these are, some of you are probably going, these are like thrift store type records. This is his first real like proper solo album, Someday Man. Really great writer, interesting arrangements. I like his voice. I know he's been around forever, but I'm going to put him in a new discovery category. All right, so a live album. This is an album that I played quite a bit in college, and from a band that I enjoyed a lot, still enjoy. Tower of Power, the San Francisco band with the 5 hornman section soul funk group. This is their live album called Live and in Living Color. It's on the Warner Brothers label, featuring the tenor saxophonist Lenny Pickett. The whole side two of the record is Knock Yourself Out. And it just, lots of soloists. Chester Thompson played in the band during this period. Of course, like I said, Lenny Pickett does an incredible tenor sax solo. This is an album that got a lot of play back when I was younger, and I still love it. It smokes. This is Tower of Power, Live in Living Color. All right, album from a different continent. I'm going to go with this one. I'm going to show Scott Walker. This is Scott by Scott Walker. His first album. This is from the UK, the Philips label. This is a mono, yeah, Scott Walker, another fantastic, interesting artist, and so I'm really glad to have that UK pressing of Scott Walker. Scott. Let's see, going on through the list here. Album with a price sticker on the cover. This is one I spun recently, and I just get a kick out of it. This is Harry Nilsson, Pandemonium Shadow Show. This is a copy, and as you can see, it's got a 49-cent price sticker on it. Now, see, this could also go for album in the shrink wrap. But anyway, Pandemonium Shadow Show for 49 cents by the great Harry Nilsson. Lovely album. Let's see, punk or new wave album. I grabbed this one out of my stack. 2020. Somebody says a power pop album. I kind of consider like punk and new wave, late 70s, early 80s, and there's probably a lot of these power pop bands that fall into that category. Those of you who know, follow my channel, know that I'm a big fan of power pop music. 2020, very, very good power pop album. So anyway, that's the punk or new wave album. Box set. Now, I went a little wacky with this one just because I figured, I could just grab just about anything. But I went with this one. This is the Byrds Canceled Flights. Now, what it is, it's a box of 7 inches, and these are 7 inches that were proposed singles by the band, and they never were released. I'm not going to break everything out for you, but They come in these really cool picture sleeves. This is the Bells of Remney and Chimes of Freedom. So the idea is this was a set of singles, proposed singles that never actually were singles. And there are 5 of them in here total. But it's a box set of 7 inches. Canceled Flights by the Byrds. Box set. Let's see. Album with a sporting theme. There were a couple, and I wanted to, and somebody's probably going to do it if they haven't already. Huey Lewis in the News, sports. Obvious choice. I'm not going to go with that. I went with this one. The Who, odds and sides. They're wearing, obviously, the American football helmets that spell out the word rock. Anyway, it was their album of B-sides and outtakes. Sporting theme. There you go. The Who, odds and sides. A jazz album. I always am going to, when the word jazz comes up, I'm always going to take an opportunity to talk about this artist because I feel like he's one of the lesser known jazz people. This is Don Ellis, trumpet player, put out some really wild records in the 70s, sort of on the cusp of that jazz rock fusion thing. This is an album, Tears of Joy. It's a live album. I believe it was recorded in San Francisco. It's on the Columbia label. If you don't know Don Ellis, check some of his stuff out. But I'm a big fan. And anyway, Don Ellis, Tears of Joy, a jazz album. A best of album. I don't really do a lot of best ofs. I kind of prefer to get into like albums by people. But a lot of artists that I enjoy have some best ofs, and this is one. The Turtles. This is the Turtles' Golden Hits. Now, there are several best of albums by the Turtles. They're sort of like, well, the Who, pick a cover. But this is Golden Hits by the Turtles. This was the first, I think, greatest hits compilation. Now, there's another one, more Golden Hits. But this has a lot of the essential stuff, like It Ain't Me, Babe, Happy Together, stuff like that on this album. But anyway, a best of compilation. There you go. Album with at least 8 people on the cover. I went with this one, Doug Somm and Band. That's just all it's called. It came out in the early 70s. Those of you know Doug Somm, the Sir Douglas Quintet. Of course, there you can see the cast of characters on here. And some of them you might recognize. Wayne Jackson from the Memphis Horns. This guy, Bob Dylan. Dr. John, you know the doctor, Dr. John. Augie Myers. This album was really a veritable who's who of people. And so Doug went in and recorded this with recorded for Atlantic Records. But there's about 8 people on the cover. And I might as well show you the back cover too while I've whipped this out. And of course you can see the cast of characters, a real photo, and like I said, a lot of the people. But I love the drawing on this, and it's a great record. It's a fun record. I love it. Let's see, a soundtrack. I'm a big fan of Twin Peaks, the television show, and so I'm going to show the soundtrack to Twin Peaks. This is the original soundtrack that came out in 1990 at the sort of peak of the series. And so music composed by Angelo Badalamenti, who did the film, the television score. And so if you've ever seen Twin Peaks, you know it. Kind of a synthy jazz thing. VCLT. I'll be honest, I don't get a lot of VCLT. So I'm going to show a record that I got recently. It was sort of more of a Christmas present than it was a VCLT. But it was a gift from another vinyl community member. Beetle Brad sent this to me. Hi, Beetle Brad. This is the Rolling Stones Rock and Roll Circus. It's also got at least 8 people on the cover. But this is the recent reissue, 3 LP set with some of the unreleased stuff. Of course, John Lennon and Yoko Ono were involved. Of course, the Rolling Stones, The Who, Marianne Faithfull, Taj Mahal, Jethro Tull. The television special directed by Michael Lindsay Hogg. This is the soundtrack. It's a soundtrack. It's a box set. But VCLT, thanks, Brad. It's a great set. I love this particular these performances, and so it's very cool to get it. And so, as you can see at the bottom there, expanded edition. But Rock and Roll Circus by the Rolling Stones and others. I have to turn my sheet over here. An album with no writing on the cover. I grabbed this one. This is Hunky Dory by David Bowie. Some might argue, myself included, that this is one of David Bowie's best albums, and I would tend to agree. I love this record. It's everything that's great about Bowie, but there is no writing on the cover. Just a photo of Mr. Bowie. A 7-inch single. I don't do a lot of 7 inches. I'm a album guy, but I do have a few, and so it was not hard to grab one. But this is one from Record Store Day a few years ago. This is Ben Gibbard, or credited to Benjamin Gibbard. This is a 45 of him doing Me and Magdalena. Me and Magdalena was the song that he had written for the Monkees. That was on the Good Times album that came out a few years ago. And The Concept, which is a song by Teenage Fan Club. So I won't say it's covers, but it's sort of him covering himself. He wrote Me and Magdalena. But so that's one of his, of course, side 2, The Concept. But anyway, Benjamin Gibbard from Death Cab for Cutie. For those of you who don't know, that's the 7-inch. Colored vinyl. I have so much colored vinyl, but keeping in the theme of keeping everything different, I went with this one just because it's kind of fun. You can see it there changing. This is ELO, or Jeff Lynne's ELO. This is the last album that they did. The new studio album. This is From Out of Nowhere. But, you know, because it's colored vinyl, I have to show it to you. It's gold. I've got a lot of colored vinyls, probably far more interesting than this one. But I'm a big fan of ELO, big fan of Jeff Lynne, and I think this is a fun record, and it is colored vinyl. And finally, last but certainly not least, an album from 1982. Probably one of my favorite albums from 1982 by one of my favorite artists. This is Elvis Costello and the Attractions' Imperial Bedroom. Elvis, by this point, was really doing a lot of different styles of music, really branching out. This album was really his attempt at doing a straight-up sort of pop album, very much in the vein of the Beatles. This was produced by Jeff Emmerich, who, of course, worked with the Beatles. I won't say this is Elvis's attempt at doing the Beatles, because it's not a Beatle album, but it is really a sophisticated album. Elvis had a string of fantastic records from this period, and Imperial Bedroom is one of the best. I mean, you can make a case for almost any of Elvis's records around this period. Armed Forces, Get Happy, which is a favorite of mine. I mean, there's several Elvis Costello albums that you can point to, but Imperial Bedroom is solid and always a rewarding listen. So there is the vinyl tag for 2022. Thank you guys again for watching. I'll post the questions down there, and I'm going to check out some of your videos that you do. If you want to, put a link to your answers down in the comment section. Comment, let me know what you think. Thanks again for watching. Let's all have a great 2022 vinyl community. And in the meantime, I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.